Here we go.
Live.
Rolling.
We're live again.
We're live.
You can drink right here. Am I close enough to you?
Yeah.
Too close.
Yeah.
Too close. What's up, man? We're
How you
back
doing, buddy?
again. Episode 3.
Episode 3.
You ready?
Let's do it.
All right. One day, I'm going to figure out you're a jokester. I'm sorry, everybody. You know, Brian just likes to do jokes and make fun of me and make me do silly things.
Oh.
All right, so welcome to the podcast. We're here again for episode 3. Today we have a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about, what are we going to talk about?
But who are we?
Chris and Brian. Oh, I got to read my notes.
We are.
Oh, we're the Runaround. Hey, we found a name. And that's what we landed on. So we're the Runaround. We didn't, we had a lot of people coming in with suggestions. And we really liked that one. That was actually one that we found on the internet somewhere. I use run acronyms, looking up a bunch of different ideas. And so me and him went through them, and then that one kind of stood out. So, hey, we're the Runaround. Today we're going to talk about
Walking.
We're going to talk about running. We're going to talk about Snowdrop. We're going to go over the whys. How do you get to a why, or at least our opinion of what a why means. Then we will go over some, I got some live stream stuff I wanted to talk about because it's getting close to the big live streams of the year. So if you're a live stream watcher, I know you can't wait for this part to come out. So I'm really super excited. I'm kind of nerdy when it comes to that stuff. So, and then we'll see where it goes from there. So let's just kick it off with Brian. And you got any Snowdrop updates?
Yes. And so it's funny. One thing I like about Snowdrop, it kind of ends, and there's a very short window of a lull or whatever we want to call it, and then it fires right back up. So the good thing, yeah. So the good thing is so Snowdrop, for those who may not know, if this is your first time watching us at the Runaround, Snowdrop, it's about pediatric cancer. It's about fundraising for pediatric cancer research, and they also do scholarships, and we'll talk about that here in a moment. So Snowdrop happens December 30th, December 31st, and January 1st of each year. They also have different events in between. They do a big softball thing, they do a gala, and there's other events. They do a lot of things at Texas Children's, which that's where where a lot of the funding for the research side goes.
Nice.
So Snowdrop, for the Snowdrop Ultra 55 100 miles or walk, run, relay event, they raised over $110,000, which was cool.
Wow. That's awesome.
So and when we do our shout outs, you want to hang to the shout out, I'm actually going to mention a few people.
Right.
Who actually, I mean, it takes a lot of, 110,000, especially if we think about today's, and we were talking about off-camera things earlier that's going on in the world of people, this and that. So, and it's around Christmas time and New Year's, it takes a lot of people to raise $110,000. So we'll do that when we talk about the shout outs.
Oh, cool.
And so, of course, since we're talking Snowdrop here, as we're filming today,
What's that?
it is 296 days until Snowdrop starts, which I'm excited because, and I said it then and I will say it again, if it wasn't for you and Jim Abney, and of course Chloe, my why,
Right.
I wouldn't have finished the Snowdrop.
Right. Well, I'm looking forward to being able to finish
Yes.
a Snowdrop because I'm going to sign up for my first one. So y'all can kind of follow along with my journey on this podcast as to my journey to the Snowdrop 55. I'll have some races in between. We can talk about it. really good. I'm not a coach or anything yet. Even though I think of sometimes I might.
Yes.
Maybe one day I'll be a coach.
Yeah, but you have a passion for it. The thing, and I say this truthfully, you have a caring thing for people, and thing's not the word, but you have a heart of gold for people. Like I say, so, when the first time I met you, you were out there supporting Lisa.
Right.
And I'm like, who's this dude that went freaking overnight or almost or whatever it was?
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you out of your ever living freaking mind?
Right.
But then of course,
I appreciate that.
and you just did your buddy at this last event just a couple of weeks ago. What, 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, something
Like that, and you're always talking about signing up, and then, you've used a coach, and you've had enough experience from using coaches and from helping others,
right?
Type thing. So anyway, but yeah.
So follow along, see how we get there. I'm 1 week out from my surgery, so I did. If everybody that didn't know, I had a foot surgery, so I had plantar fasciitis really bad for the last 2 years. Finally had a surgery. Hopefully that's going to be done for I can start back moving basically with a shoe on, maybe another week or so.
Nice.
So that's going to be exciting for me. But to me, it was really, everybody asked me about the surgery. Are you scared? I'm excited, because to me that was like, okay, this is the day that my journey starts to get back to what I love doing. Because last year was a total show. It was a total show of a lot of disappointment of things that I could not do.
Right. So you talk about the surgery, and I'm guessing it's an iffy, how you're feeling, what the doctor says. But once you go to the doctor, when do you go back?
On Friday.
On a Friday.
Yeah.
And so then, do they have an idea of what they're going to do? Are they removing
They're
stitches?
going to remove the stitches.
Okay.
They're going to remove the stitches and start physical therapy.
How many stitches did you get?
I don't know. It looks like about 8 or 9, I guess.
Okay. And so then you start physical therapy.
It's a cut on the bottom of my heel. So they did a plantar fascia release, and they grinded my heel spur down, which she ended up telling me. I went to see her after the surgery a couple days after, and she told me it was actually a very significant heel spur, more than she expected.
Okay. Wow. And so then, do you have an idea? Did they kind of say, well, in a perfect world scenario, this is how long with your physical therapy, this is how long it'll take before you can start?
Right. So I asked all that before. I don't remember. I'm not good with my memory with that, but I know within 3 weeks I can start walking. Oh, you're gonna put the timer on, ain't you? You put the timer on, because if you're not timing, I don't know how long we've been on, but
yeah,
let's just.
Yeah, we'll go with
We could keep a little timer so we don't make a 2-hour episode.
Right.
We don't want that. Well, that probably wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, but the battery will die, remember?
For sure.
So, okay.
So anyway, sorry to cut you off, but
no.
What the timeline I got was I was supposed to travel. Every year I go see my sister who lives in the Smoky Mountains. Mm-hmm. And I was supposed to travel to her house like in the middle of April. We're going to go to the top of this Mount LeConte. We've done it last year, and there's like an 8 or 9 mile hike up there.
Right.
And then you stay the night there, and it's like, for a mountaintop cabin, it's luxurious in my eyes, because there's actually a bed, there was a heater. I mean, it was like 20 degrees last year when we went, and they had a meal cooked for you in a cabin. I mean, there are cabins up there, and you can't get up there without hiking or a mule or a helicopter. There's no road there. There's no road there.
Okay.
It's the highest cabins on the east coast of America is what it says. It's the highest. It's like 7,000 or 8,000 feet. Something. I don't remember the exact. But anyway, the point was that was planned, and I had to cancel it because I told her, well, can I go April 15th to go do this, just a little hike? And she goes, how far is the hike? And I said, well, it's only 8 or 9 miles.
Only 8 or 9 miles.
Up a mountain. So she said no mountain climbing. So I'm thinking, she told me like by May I should start to be able to start getting some more miles that I enjoy to get in. Okay. I'll be moving before that, but as far as like starting 20, 30, 40, 50 miles a week, that's not going to be until then, which anyway, I'm excited about it.
Well, no, so the good thing is, speaking of you ever heard of Snowdrop?
Yes, I have actually.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, so 23 days from today is when the sign up. April 1st is the sign up. 23 days.
And I'm going to do something I've never done in my life before.
Yeah, so that's... I'm
going to sign up on the first day.
That's exciting for us. That it's always a for those that have, have participated over the years and things, it's an exciting time, because for me, it's like, man, am I going to be able to get 20 miles? Am I going to be able to get 50 miles? Am I going to be able to get 100 miles? And then of course, in the time leading up to it, we'll talk about it eventually. We'll talk about the why and what is a why type thing, because again, that's my purpose for Snowdrop. So and now that you've had your surgery, last year was kind of a big struggle year. What I'm saying? Just because, dude, you love,
say the least.
You and Lisa, and I'm sure there's many others. Dude, you're like, oh my gosh, I got to sign up for this $10,000 run.
It's not like that. It's
I know,
not,
I'm kidding.
but I get what you're saying, yeah.
So,
because you have so everybody knows, Brian has a small.
Hey,
let me finish.
Be careful.
I don't know anything. I don't know any of the other stuff you're thinking about right now because you got a dirty mind. But his scale size of knowing people that are in the ultra running world that are not do Snowdrop is very minimal. So when we started hanging out, I thought it was odd that was the only race that he ever does, and I don't think it's odd anymore. Everybody has different reasons for doing what they do. But so when he hears about, I signed up for Cocodona a couple years ago. I didn't do it, by the way, but I signed up and I spent $1,700. It was like his mouth about hit the floor, and he's to this day still is like, I just don't understand that. So it's some people will never understand it, and that's okay. That's okay. To be honest with you, that's $1,700 that is kind of, I haven't used $1 of it yet towards anything. I have some credits or whatever. When I lost 25% of that money when I didn't do the race.
Right.
And I haven't yet to use any of that to do, because I had to do one of their races in order to get any of that money. And I signed up for this year to do the half of that. And then surgery, all this stuff happened.
Right.
Not fit, and that's just I love Cocodona though. I would love to be able to do it one day.
So what is it about Cocodona?
So Cocodona kind of got me, and I can probably talk about this into more detail, probably for a whole podcast if somebody would let me.
Okay, stay tuned. Part 2.
Yeah, we probably should. I'll talk a little bit. I know, but truthfully, I would. It's probably without us end up going all over the place. We could probably section it in somewhere, maybe a little bit later. But what got me started on it was the live streams, all that stuff.
Okay. Well, no, because for me, we said it's Snowdrop. And it's funny, and you really, I know you mentioned Jackalope Jam, and you like the Brazos Bend, and you like these others, but for an event that's $1,700 to me must have some. It's almost like Iron Man. I think if you're going to do the other, the triathlons. Iron Man's pretty. And
I'm serious,
close in that range.
It's probably a really good idea to get someone on here and talk about Cocodona and the allure of it, because it is a very big deal in the 4 years it's been going on, as far as just next level. You get me so excited because I want to talk about it so bad. All the things that I've seen, all I've done is watch live stream. It's like watching a movie for 5 days. And when you're really into that thing and into those people and watching the stories, and it's just, you would think you can't watch 105 hours of running, but it's a lot of stuff mixed in. And now last year was epic. The year before that was epic because the guy who won was in 75th place after the first day, and he won. So that was an epic story to watch this guy. It was actually my ex-coach, Michael McKnight. You watch him go, you wake up the next morning and check on where he's at, and he's went up 50 places overnight. He just woke up and, right? It's a 250-mile race. You really don't think they're racing, but they're racing. Then last year it was even crazier. A guy led it for almost the whole end of the race, the whole second half of the race. He led it, and he lost the lead. It was actually on footage. You're watching it, and you can't see them coming out of. They're coming over this mountain, and they're coming down, and you don't really get eyes on them until they come out of these trees. So you saw him going up the mountain in the lead, and all the angles and everything. And it's not like perfect angles and perfect. So there's a lot of empty spots. So you're kind of sitting there wondering what's going to happen. But then they tell you, well, in 15 minutes, we'll catch eyes on them.
Mm-hmm.
But so-and-so is only a half mile behind. There was somebody really close.
Yeah.
Well, who comes out the trees is not the guy who went into the trees first. A different guy came out. So he led all that time and lost it in like the last 3 miles. It was epic. He had a breathing issue.
Yeah.
And no reason the guy should have caught him. You know, like if it would have been, like they both would have been, he would have been okay. It would have been, it was not in the bag. It was close, but if he just would have kept on doing what he was doing, he would have held him off, I believe, probably.
Right.
Man, but to go out like that, I mean, when the story was told, he told the story, did a little video on it or whatever, and he was sitting on a bench when the guy walks up. Something I love about ultra running. The second place guy walks up and just like, hey man, how you doing? The guy couldn't talk that well. He said he was really distraught. He was just sad because he was really, this guy came in.
I can't.
These are two professionals. This professional guy came into this race saying, I'm coming in to win.
Yes.
That's what and that was his goal. And for him to lose it there, he was upset. He was on that, but he knew, and they just kind of shook hands, had a moment together. This is what I like about trail running. Like, everybody cheers everybody on, you know? And it's not like the guy sits down, you know, and the guy just goes by him, and no, he stops, talks to him, they have a conversation. Then he says, it's all yours, man.
Yeah.
He's like, man. And so, anyway, he's well deserved, because that dude did 250 miles as well, right?
Yeah, I was about to say.
So he got the course record. Anyway, so I see how I can do.
Yeah.
I can get off on that tangent when I'm talking about the ultra running, because I'm really a fan of it. Like we've said plenty of times. Yeah. I'm really a fan.
Yeah. So as Lisa needs to sponsor, because you know when she does hers, she trips and falls a lot.
Oh, you saw that, huh? Something I think we should
twice.
Something we should mention here.
And I told you that is why I.
Yes. Why you don't want to do trail?
Well, I don't want to do
pebble. A little pebble.
Let me tell you that
pebble will get you.
That pebble on these Fred Flintstones, man.
I tell you, man. I think it's something we should say. Probably a way to figure out to say it better, but the runaround is based in Houston, Texas, basically. We're on the north side of Houston, but most of the things we will talk about and go over, well, I'm talking about Cocodona and a whole nother state, a whole nother thing. That's just something I'm watching on TV. Kind of like talking about a football team that you're just a fan of it, right? But most of our stuff we'll talk about is going to be surrounded around our community people, our tribe, and probably, I would say Texas, right?
Yeah,
I would say Texas. I mean, probably a lot of Houston stuff. Snowdrop's in Houston, right outside of Houston in Missouri City. And then we have a lot of races that are close to Houston or in Houston that we'll talk about. I mean, we'll talk road races, we'll talk trail, we'll talk everything.
Yes.
But I just want everybody to know that that's where we're based from. So if somebody's watching from out of state, they're like, these guys are talking about a lot of stuff. Where's all this stuff at? So, and it may not be, but if you ever come to Houston, hey, hit us up. We can help you out. We can help you out.
Yeah.
We can help you out. We can get you going with whatever. But there's enough people in Houston, I think, that are runners, and that we can hopefully get a little tribe going here and do something a little different.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
Yeah, so it's going to be fun.
We got anything else, Snowdrop?
Well, I mean, we can talk about, so there's also the, and of course, we probably won't be able to tell me, and then to like go, so so what's funny is this is the actual William Cox, the guy that actually, again, I mean, man, look, I think we all need help. Some may need help a little more than others, but this was my training guide for the first 100-miler.
Nice.
And I used this for the first 2 years.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Of course, I made the mistake the first year. I joked, and now look, this is just a little tongue-in-cheek. Okay, let's just clarify right now. I say I kind of felt like a Kenyan. Man, I mean, that first year, because I'd never done it before.
It was flying, huh?
Well, I mean, I don't want to say flying, but I mean, I did well. I met the goals. I kind of did better, to be honest, with what I thought I was going to do. Because the furthest I'd ever done before that was a marathon.
Right.
I didn't try any of these 35, 40 milers or whatever else, because on the training here, even though, of course, I'm sure I didn't stick to it or I split it up, I want to say the furthest distance on here was 55 miles. And it says you would do it
For
over
the week?
2 days.
Oh, for 2
the
days.
day- for
oh,
2
that's pretty
days.
good. That's pretty good
Yeah.
mileage right there.
You know, because as you know, I mean, especially because the way I planned it out.
So when does that? When did that start? Like after you sign up?
Well, yeah. So what it was is this was from almost 12 years ago. So this started in the month of April,
Gotcha.
which was crazy. So the regular runs for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday were 3 miles a day, which is doable. And then on the weekends, your long runs, you would do 10 miles. But again, because as you know, when you do these ultras, or in Snowdrop's particular case, it's almost like 2.5 days. Right. I like to take my time and, hopefully prevent injury and,
right.
Make it a little easier to walk or move than after you're done or whatever type thing. So, yeah, so on the long runs, as we call them on Saturday and Sunday, you usually do them back to back. So when it starts with 10 miles both days. So
that's very common amongst even the training that I did with when I had coaches. That was very common. But I really like that the way that is. So maybe that's something that we can put if somebody is interested in our training plan of what we're going to be doing, we can kind of like. Well, then we can give it to you. I remember the first time I did my first marathon, I didn't have any friends of running at all, and all I did was went online and printed out. I just looked up marathon training. Funny story, I looked up marathon training because I wanted to do a marathon before. I already knew I wanted to do an ultra, but I wanted to do a marathon before I did that.
Right.
Well, I printed it out. It was like a 16-week plan. I was like, oh, cool. So I just started it. Yeah. And I had it on my mirror, and every day when I got home, every time I just exit. It was a piece of paper. I got a picture of that paper. I would just exit off every time I did what it did, and I did it like you're saying. I felt good because I did pretty well, like all the way to the end of it. And the funny story was, I was telling someone, "Oh yeah, I'm almost to the end of my marathon plan." They go, "Well, what marathon are you running?" I was like, "What?" So with not having anybody telling me anything, or I didn't read it, or whatever that happened, my failure in that moment was, you're supposed to pick a plan, which most people say pick a plan, 16-week, 6 month, whatever the plan is, but it starts, you have the day of the race, that's the end of the plan, and you go backwards. Then you pick when the plan starts, right? And so I didn't do that. So when it got there, then I started getting online trying to look for a marathon. There was nothing close to the date, so I ended up just running in my neighborhood and doing it when the plan ended. I just did it in my neighborhood. Ran 26 miles in Kingwood through the trails and everything.
Why? No,
because I wanted to complete that. That was like it was a big accomplishment because it was all on my own. Now my wife showed up and helped me. Like, she helped me with some hydration because I called her and said, "Hey, I'm running out of stuff." I didn't plan like stops on my route. Like, there's a lot of things I would do different. That's why I would recommend. If there's one thing I can tell you, there's a lot of mistakes that I made. So if you're new, you want to do a 5K, a 10K, I can pretty much tell you some mistakes that I made that I wish I would have known being a new person. And sometimes it's hard to find someone that'll give you free information. Internet is free information, but I can give you real life information that has happened to me, and it would probably help most common people that are just starting off. So I'm more than happy to help.
Yeah,
that's something I live for.
So one more thing for Snowdrop. Other than at the end, I'll do some shout outs. But earlier I talked about how Snowdrop does the cancer research, fundraising for the research. They also do the scholarship side. So I'm sure you can look up Snowdrop Foundation. I don't know if it's a .com or a .org, but they actually have the scholarship program now that they are accepting applications for.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you can go online and do some research. If you can't find it, reach out. The deadline is April 30th. And so I believe that one of the qualifications or pre-qualifications is you rather have to had cancer, or maybe you still have cancer type things, is what those scholarship funds go to. So you can go to snowdropfoundation.org or .com. Forgive me, Kevin and Trish, but April 30th, so there is some time to go online to get that link.
I'm sure they can go on the Facebook. There's a lot of updates on the Facebook.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff on Facebook. So just go to Snowdrop, and you'll find it. So, okay, that's all my Snowdrop for now. So, 296 days for the big start, 23 days before the sign up, and then the fundraising part. And I'll talk about that sometime maybe in the next one.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
sounds good.
So
I'm ready. Snowdrop.
yeah,
Snowdrop.
Snowdrop. So what do you got going on? What's up for you?
Man, I don't know. I got a lot of stuff going on. But I think we talked about it a little bit earlier. I think today our main topic that we want to talk about is the why, because Snowdrop is definitely Brian's why and behind it, and he's kind of talked about it, but he does it for a person, and now it's going to be in memory of a person. Now, so that's his biggest thing for him in his why. So as we were talking about our whys, we kind of talked about why I started running. We kind of talked about why I started ultras. But I like to think there's another why. There's why do you continue? What keeps you going to the next race? What keeps you going to do the next thing? I think everybody has different reasons of why, and this is talked about a lot. I'm a YouTube watcher, as y'all are gonna know really quick. I'm a YouTube watcher. I watch a lot of stuff. There is a video by Billy Yang called The Why, which I highly recommend. Got over 2 million views or something like that, and it is the why of a 100-miler. So he really, I'm sure Brian hasn't seen, so I'm gonna recommend it to you really, because also it will kind of help you, it's a really good introduction to listening to somebody talk about why do 100 miles.
Okay.
I know you've already done 100 miles, but just to get a perspective of why someone else, and a lot of it's going to relate to anybody that's done a 100-miler. Everybody knows Billy Yang. He's super famous as a video YouTube influencer throughout the ultra running community. He tells stories through videos like no other. They are awesome. So I just rewatched it during this week because I haven't been able to work or do anything, so I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos. So I would like to say that from my experience, man, it's tough. I've went back and forth a lot. I think I would start going in a direction and think this is my why, and then I end up wondering, well, that didn't feel good. Was that it? And then I felt so. To put it all into a smaller nutshell to kind of explain it better. When I first got into running, it was about the mileage, the pace. I was really caught up with the medals. I was really one of the people that get into it, which no offense, I'm not against getting a medal. I love a nice medal, I love a nice buckle. Okay, this is not, but in the world, some people got more of a reason to do it. But in the beginning, my first year, once I got into ultras, once they told me you could get a buckle, I got infatuated with wanting to get a buckle. So, and we all can get into those, what I would like to say, material things. So the recommendations, the things I'm gonna say, maybe they'll resonate with other people. That they weren't making me. They weren't doing it. I mean, anytime I attempt something hard, I would have some failures, and because you're literally gonna go back to the why am I doing this? You're gonna have a moment in a long distant effort where you're gonna be like, why am I doing this? Or in your long training or whatever. And so then let's fast forward a little bit. Because everybody would give me advice, but I'm kind of hard-headed, so I didn't really listen to them.
What's that?
I'm kind of hard-headed.
Say that? No, I'm just kidding.
I don't really listen. They would tell you when you get into ultras, crew people, pace people, and volunteer at aid stations. So you'll get to see the other people and what they're. But I was so caught up in the me. I was so caught up into me. I heard them and it sounded fun, so I'd volunteer once in a blue moon. Right, I tried it and it was fun. I did it at Jackalope Jam before I did my first Jackalope Jam. I volunteered because I only did the 24-hour the first year. I volunteered on the Friday, stayed the night, and ran the 24 hours the next day. That was my first time volunteering. And so that I saw it, but it was still about me. It was still about, anytime I thought about volunteering or help, or not really crewing or pacing, because I really didn't have a lot of people in my circle that were doing big things at that time, so I didn't ever get opportunities. But it was just like, volunteer, man, I need to be running these races. I got to show everybody that I can do this. I want to fit in. I remember at Jackalope when I was doing the 24-hour, seeing the other people doing the 100-hour. They were like the cool high school kids. out there, right?
Yeah.
And because they had this bond that you could tell they had been carrying. I got there on Saturday. They've been there since Wednesday doing this. You could just see it from the outside. And it's almost like, I want to get in that group. Again, is that to be cool? Is that why I want to run 100 miles or whatever mileage I want to run? No, but I still didn't see it. I struggled. And this has only been like a 3-year journey, but last year really humbled me. I think I'm really close to my why. This is what drove me to Snowdrop. So last year, being injured, and anybody will know when you're injured and you're a runner, it is like the worst thing, and you can't do what you love, because running is literally my therapy that keeps me insane. It keeps me from going insane. And when you can't do that, it's really, when you can't do it as much as you want or without pain. Like I literally, the doctor said I could have kept running with the pain that I had, and it wasn't, because it wasn't going backwards, but it wasn't getting better. So it was manageable, but it sucked. And it was I never went on a run not feeling that ache. So just imagine doing that for, anyway, all your injured people out there, trust me, I have not yet conquered how to do something else, find a love for something else that will get me through being injured. That's what all the videos say. Everybody says, oh, you got to find love for something else, blah, blah. I didn't know how to do that. So then, my mom gets sick, and then ultimately my mom passes. And that's when I kind of hit a roadblock, I think a big roadblock, because my mom passed away. I deleted all my social media. And it was part of, I guess, my grieving process. I deleted all my social media. And when I did that, I got off Strava, I got off Instagram, I got off Facebook, and I just kind of went into a hole by myself, And I'm tying this to the why, because I hope nobody goes down this rabbit hole that I went, which was kind of like, I know I needed to grieve in some sort of a way, but I didn't realize that I was doing it alone. Like, I just did it alone. And I can't tell you that I'm 100% past that, but I found a way out of it. But it took me a while, and if I'm looking back on it, I don't know. Figuring out my why started kind of like when I had a few, I'm gonna tell you this may be a whole nother subject, but I'm just gonna touch on this real quick. Do this experiment. I want everybody to try this experiment. Delete your social media. I know I'm saying something totally crazy. Nobody ever wants to say, delete myself. How am I gonna live? Like, that's the end of the world. Well, trust me, I lived in a day when there was no social media, and I survived. So if you delete your social media, you will literally find out how many people care about what you put out there. And I'm gonna tell you a little secret. It's this many. Because and this is no offense to anybody. I had to learn this on my own. No offense to anybody or anyone. I love all my friends that I have now. I love them all that didn't contact me when I got off social media, didn't worry about anything, because they weren't really in my life that way. But even the people that were super close to me, some of the closest people to me, when I got off social media, they did not notice. I could talk to them still. They wouldn't say, oh, you got off social media. People I would talk to, comment, like videos, because I'm a liker. I like. I like to talk to people on social media. I like to do, it's social media is a social thing, right? But I took it, just spit in the air. Do you see that? Don't tell them. I took social media like it was real life, to be honest with you. I really started treating it like it's real life, because I'm from the old school, so I didn't know how to departmentalize that into like, this is not real life. This is an image that you have in this world. Real life is who I'm talking to right here.
Yes.
Yeah. Real life is who I'm gonna go home to my wife and my daughter at home, and I'm gonna see her parents, and this is real life people in my life every day. And it's a small group, but that's real life. Yeah. The people on my Instagram liking and commenting, because trust me, nobody called me up and said, Chris, you like my pictures every day, all day. Where are you now? I haven't got a like from you in a week. Like, because I thought, since I didn't know, they'll just get likes from somewhere else, and because it's a world where you just keep moving. You just keep moving. You just interact with who's interacting with you. That's what I've learned. That's my experience. But it took me to a dark place to figure that out, because I was really thinking that nobody gave a shit. Like, oh, nobody gives a shit.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And so when I start to come around, this is, I guess, towards December-ish. You know, of course, I know we mentioned Lisa a lot. Brian and Lisa are my two best friends. And when Lisa messaged me, hey, Les, she was always messaging me, trying to get me to come out. And I was just like, oh, my foot hurts. Well, first it was hunting season. It was a big, long, when I do hunting season, I kind of don't try not to run as much, and I'm gone a lot. So I wasn't even getting any satisfaction from that.
Now you're gonna have PETA on us. But go ahead, I digress.
Well, they're gonna learn a lot about hunting, 'cause I am a hunter. I eat some meat, and you know, like, I think a whole nother podcast, but we are really disconnected. Look at me, I'm going all over the place. But that, I used to think that was part of my why, because I used to watch this other guy on social media, and his why he runs is because he wants to be in good shape. So when he goes hunting in the mountains. And I thought, yeah, that'd be nice. It does help me when I'm in good shape. Trust me, my friends will be talking to me about, oh man, you're just walking through here like it's nothing. Well, I run all the time. This is nothing. It did make me in better shape for doing the hunting part. But this year when I went, but the main part I like about it is the camaraderie. That's what and this year I missed it because I was still depressed. I didn't tell anybody. I was still sad. The group wasn't getting together like we normally do. And now I'm out there walking to the stand with pain in my foot. Same problems, you know, not in great shape. So it all kind of, so then the why is not really able to figure it out. But this year, when I went, Lisa kind of got me out of it and kept telling me to come to Snowdrop. Just come out there. They got me to, earlier in the year, they had got me to sign up for Misty's relay team.
Misty Mills.
Misty Mills.
Thank you.
Hi, Misty. And and it's for Megan.
And for Megan.
And
Rock star Megan.
And I think all the dots started kind of connected for me in brain, because I showed up and I didn't want to. I did not want to go because I was embarrassed of my weight. I was embarrassed of my fitness. All these things, right? And I haven't been around these people, but when I went there, I got so much love from the Houston community, all the people that I know, run with, go to places with, all these things. They all were there. They act like it was like nothing. I got hugs. I was thankful that Lisa kind of pushed me to go, right? And then on one of the laps, the second day, I did 2 legs of 6 miles each time. And on the second leg, Misty caught up with me, and she actually had Megan on the phone, and I had never talked to Megan.
Oh, wow.
So that was such a cool thing to talk to her, let her know I was out there doing some miles for her. And so it was really, really cool to get that small, that's the first time I'd ever talked to her. And to get that, so it made me think of, this is so much more than getting the buckle. This is so much more than there's a person. And then so I was talking to people about, I really want to, I think I want to raise money and help, but I think I want, and they told me it's a big commitment, so I haven't committed yet, but I think I want someone to run for. And not sure how that goes, but I think I think my why has turned into your why, you know?
Well, so there's a gentleman named Bob Milligan. He has the Snowdrop Honor. I'll connect you to Bob.
Okay.
Bob will get you hooked up.
And this is not a setup. Brian is just here in this part. I told him I'm going to have a story to tell today. He's just here in this part for the first time. But I believe that is I'm very respectful for everybody that does that. It's a really big why. I went on YouTube this week. Surprise again. What? I went on YouTube this week. But I looked up Snowdrop Ultra 55. There's a couple of you're not going to find a video about Snowdrop that is negative. I promise you that. It is, not that there should be, but there's always some bad apples that get out there and have something to. Snowdrop makes it, is such a great job. If anybody wants to know how to put on an event, they should probably be writing a handbook and handing it out, right? Because it has all the things for everybody. I really think so. Even if you just want to go complete miles and you want to do 100 miles, even if that, for whatever reason, your entry fee for doing that gives back. So it is really, really exciting when you see that portrayed. There was 2 videos that really stood out to me. One of them was a husband and a wife, and they did the 100 miles, and they just couldn't talk well. The swag bag is ridiculous. I got one for the relay team this year. It is crazy good. The buckle, a guy that's done, I don't forgot his YouTube page. You have to just type in Snowdrop Ultra 55. There's a guy that did a video, and he was saying, because he would know, he was saying he has over 30 100-mile finishes.
Wow.
And this was his first time doing Snowdrop. And he says, and I've had all kinds of buckles. This is by far the best buckle craftsmanship he's ever received.
Wow.
And that means a lot. Like not only, you know, I know we just talked about, oh, don't do it for a buckle, but it's just, they do everything top of the line.
Well, and I will say, since you have seen, you know, you've been to the Jackalope and you've seen these other for the 100-milers and things like that. And one thing I think I like about Snowdrop is it's not so much about the mileage, but I will say they, because of the time frame, similar to Jackalope, you know, it makes it a little easier to possibly get that ultra 100-miler.
Right. Or easier for you to, I guess I'd say, like if someone is new,
yes,
and they go out and they're like, okay, I don't think this is possible, but then they go out and they do so many laps, then they sit down and rest, where they never had done in another race. It's always a time limit, right? Like, oh, I have 6 hours to do this half marathon.
Yes, yeah, you have a cutoff.
Like, you have a cutoff. Yeah. There's a cutoff. This is 55 hours, so you go do some miles, and then all of a sudden you come back and sit down and you eat some food and you hang around, and then you're like, someone comes by, hey, let's go do some more loops. You end up there's PRs all over the place because the window is so big. What else are you gonna do? Get back up and do some more loops.
Well, you know, and it's funny. And so when we're talking about the swag and stuff, the food is some of the best food I can imagine. That
in the video,
yeah.
If they look up that video, they'll see the guy talks all about it. He shows some videos of the food. One day it was Chewy's
and the barbecue.
It's like they have real meals, breakfast real meals.
Oh yeah,
egg tacos or something he was talking about. I was like, man, that's. Anyway,
yeah.
My why. I'm sorry I got off track again, but it is definitely, I love helping others.
Yes, you do.
So this year, you'll see on my journey, not only I'm going to try to find someone to run for, that's going to be part of my why, but part of my why is to help others complete things they want to complete. Now, it doesn't matter what it is. If somebody wants to run their first 5K with me, I'm down. If somebody wants to run a 10, this is not. I think I get more out of watching others do things they have never done before, or just helping them, or just being there for them, or just cheering on. My friend Jason completed a 50-mile, and I couldn't because the week before I had paced a buddy when I shouldn't have. I told y'all that story. I paced him when I shouldn't have, and it hurt my foot or whatever. It didn't hurt it worse, but you don't want to pace someone when you're hurt because then he was in front and I'm in back and he's worried about me. I did that, so I couldn't help pace Jason the next weekend for his first 50, but I was there and I cheered him on, and I got just as much joy out of that as anything else. Just being, even if you're just there to cheer people on, I mean, you'd be surprised. Like the funny thing, they have a lot of memes out, right? And one of them always says, it's crazy how someone you met on a trail and spent an hour or two with will congratulate you and be there for you more than an actual family member. And there's no diss on your family member.
No,
but
it's
I will
not.
tell you, I get 1,000 times more support from people that I've met through trail running than I have from actual family members. Now, I do have some really good family members that really support me a lot. I'm not trying to take away from them at all, but the other people, it's total strangers before you met them on a trail, and you become bonded. That's where I think I want you to learn about the trails, is because you become really bonded by the time you spend.
Oh yeah, because by the
trails.
time you spend all that time out there, I mean, you learn about family and everything else because you're out there for so much time.
And when you're suffering together, right?
Yeah.
When you're suffering. So anyway, my why, I think, is I want to volunteer more. I want to crew and pace more. The pacing may not be as much this year until I get to better shape, but if it's something I can do, I would definitely like to do it. So that's my why, is helping others, man. I really think helping others, and what happens to me along the way, I don't know if I'm, besides the Snowdrop 55 hour, I don't know if I'm going to attempt a 100-miler again. I used to chase that a lot, and I was really, I just don't think I'm going to chase that like I used to. I mean, if I can get it in 55 hours, great. If I don't, I'm not going to cry about it. I'm not going to, but it's like, the most important thing will be for me, if I get to do it for someone, is going to be to help raise money.
Yes.
And more awareness. And I really want to work this year a lot on raising. So all the races I'll be doing and all the things I'll be doing will kind of connect back to me helping someone for a bigger cause.
Yeah. Well, that's me. That's it. I mean, it's always a cause greater than yourself. So
exactly. So stay tuned for more.
Right. Yeah. That was good.
Thanks, man. I mean, it is what it is,
I'm glad
right?
you, well, I mean, but what you said, it perfectly fits you. I mean, you know, like you say, I'll say it again, you helped me get through Snowdrop, you helped Jason, you helped those others. So, you know, and now that, you know, they give it a few months or whatever for your foot to heal.
I'm really excited. I'm really excited about it. Helping these people.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Need a cigarette?
I was long-winded on that one, huh?
No, it was good though. It was good.
Nice. We got a couple more things that we're going to talk about. I need to put my paper here so I can read.
Yeah.
Man. So I did talk a little about Cocodona. This little, I'm gonna call it a segment. This little segment I want to start talking about is going to be about ultra live stream races. So the live stream world has grown really big. This is how ultra people, and there's even trail races, shorter, get to watch these races that you can't go to. You get to watch them on live stream. It's something that Texas really doesn't have that. And so something that me and Brian, now, I am the last person to be talking about doing something IT, trust me. Because if you're watching this and you know anything about IT, I probably reached out to you and asked you some silly questions, right? So fun fact, we just talked about this earlier. We've made 2 episodes, and there's 3 real big mistakes that an IT guy normally probably wouldn't make. The first mistake was I uploaded the video, and there's a little 1-second clip of some shirtless guy in the middle of the video. So if y'all ever watched it, or if you haven't, you can go back and you can see a shirtless guy in the middle of the video because he was playing with his GoPro. I'm not going to mention no names. But anyway, I thought about going back and fixing it, but hey, yeah, it's me and all my sexiness, but without this shirt on. That's about how. But hey, I thought about going back and fixing it. I was like, hey, this is just where it started. The second one, I didn't think I told you about it. The second mistake I made, I fixed it when I noticed it. I didn't notice it until 3 days ago. So this has been out for like 2.5 weeks. Nobody mentioned it to me. But it says Brian and Chris talk Snowdrop. But it said Brain and Chris.
Well, you know what? But I saw that when someone shared it, and dude, I'll be honest with you, I get that spelt all the time. Look, as long as the check,
dyslexic now.
As long as the check is spelt right, Brian, I'm good. You know.
So anyway, I fixed that one yesterday.
I appreciate that.
And I did fix it, especially now. I'm sorry about that. But if y'all see your mistakes, last week's episode, the IT guy did not turn on the power switch to keep the GoPro charging. So the GoPro died in the middle of a sentence. And we didn't know that it died. So for whatever reason, we didn't know. We thought we saw something was off. But right now the screen is black. So we can't really, I don't know how to fix that setting to show us all the time. It's probably trying to save battery or whatever. But the screen's black. The light's blinking, so we think it's recording. Hopefully. So maybe it was just too low of a recording. But anyway, it cut off, gone. And I just said, I'm posting it just like that. So we missed a lot of, we had shout outs last week we didn't get to do.
Okay.
Because of my failure to do that. So
that's all.
Anyway, so I'm the IT guy. But anyway, the point of that was kind of getting into, I want to talk a little bit about upcoming live streams and ultra. So the biggest thing in ultra running, if you're a Western States fan, if you're an ultra fan of long distances, you know Western States to us in America is the Super Bowl trail running, 100-mile race, the oldest 100-mile race. There's a lot of stories about it. I'm not going to tell it to Brian right now. Maybe we'll talk to it. Maybe when I have more time, because I can see the timer over there, and we're getting up there a little bit. So, but it's basically it's the oldest race, and the top people from around the world go to compete there. Okay. And this year it is stacking up. Woo-wee. Some of the top, because not every race has, like, when you go to NASCAR, right, it's the same people, everything. Trail running is not like that. Trail running, you don't, because not all the people can fit. There's only enough room, and you and I can get into the Western States Lottery, and if we get lucky enough, we'll get picked. Over 10,000, or I don't have the numbers, but like 10,000 people or plus probably put into this lottery, and people picked out. Now, if you placed in 10 or in top 10 the year before, women and men, you get an automatic ticket if you want to go back the next year.
Okay.
Okay. And then there's a series of races. There's like 5 or 6 races throughout the year that you can earn a golden ticket for the top 2 or the top 3 to get entry into it. So a lot of the elites that are their first time trying to get into the race, they didn't go into it last year. They didn't place, or maybe they placed 11th.
Okay.
They want to go back.
Right.
They have to go win their way back in. So they go. So yesterday morning, I got a surprise. I've been wondering what Jim Walmsley's been up to. He's the top American ultra runner there is right now.
Okay.
Now this year, I think people are going to give him a run for his money. I'm still a Jim fan. I love watching the races, and I love things changing. Every race they've had this year, course records have been broken.
Okay.
Every race we've seen, there's a new carb thing coming out where more carbs is helping the body, and so they're going faster. Whatever the reason, it's really exciting. So Jim showed up at the Mesquite 50K.
Okay.
And it was on live stream. I was happened to be watching it. Then they said, "Oh, look, it's Jim Walmsley." I was like, I didn't know he was. So it's just a little warm-up race for him, but he beat the course record. He got the course record for that race, and he got first place, all that good stuff, right? And then he did a little interview after. So if you're a live streamer like me and you want to see what Jim's up to, he did a little interview on the live stream after there, and he talked about what he was going to be doing. So he's doing a race on March the 23rd, a couple weeks, and it's the Chianti Ultra Trail UTMB race. It's a golden ticket, but he doesn't need a golden ticket.
Okay.
He just wants a warm-up race for Western States to kind of get back in he had a knee injury last year. So anyway, I'm telling you a lot of stuff about Jim Walmsley. He's one of my guys. I have several people that I think David Roach is a very interesting guy this year that has been breaking a lot of course records and doing a lot of really fast stuff. So if you like talking ultra, and you're interested in that, like I'll try to do a little small segment every week, and hopefully somebody will reach out to me and we can talk ultra. We can talk elites, and it might not be something that Brian is interested in yet, but maybe he will be. But I'm really interested in it, and I watch that. And then, so that the Western States is actually the 28th and the 29th of June, and before that, we have what I like to say, what I talked about a little bit earlier, the biggest live stream event, the best put together live stream event, which is Cocodona. So we talked a little bit about it. We'll talk more about it later because it's a lot to talk about when you talk about it. But it's what's grown that race to be what it was. When the first year, I don't even know if they filled up. This last year, for the first time after the race, after the stuff I told you about earlier, like when you sign up, it filled up in like 1 or 2 days. And I think it's went up in price. It used to be 1,700. I think it went up. And it sold out. And they only can have so many people on the trail. So, and then you get on a wait list and you hope somebody drops out so you can get in or whatever. So anyway, but it is, and we have a couple of Houstonians doing it. Well, I know for sure, I'm not sure. I think Jason Hanley is doing it. He is an ultra runner he's also a coach, and he lives closer to downtown area, part of the Houston area trail runners. I believe he's doing it. And also a good friend of ours that lives in Kingwood, a few miles. I live in Kingwood. He lives right down the street from me, not too far. And Richard Cleve. And so Gleave with a G, sorry. He's doing it. He just finished, as an early shout out, Richard just finished his tune-up race, which was the Swami Shuffle 200 miler. Congratulations, Richard, for that. And I'm looking forward to following you and tracking you as you continue on your journey. So, and you as well, Jason. So those are the two that I know off the top of my head. I didn't write that down, but those are the two that I know that are doing the Cocodona. I'm looking forward because we'll probably see them on the live stream. Like live stream is not just about they'll follow the top, but they're always going. They'll follow all the way to the end, pretty much until the cutoff, which is 125 hours. So the top, that's 125 hours. So the top guys finish in like 60 hours.
Yeah.
So then you still have that much more time to watch other people. So if you're following somebody's there, we
Yeah.
can look up where they're at. We're usually going to catch them on the TV. So that's fun to do that too.
Cool. Wow.
So that's all I got about the live
That's
stream.
a lot.
I know
Okay.
it's a lot. It's a lot for you to
No,
digest,
but it's a lot, but it's good though.
It's fun. It's fun
Yeah.
stuff for me. And if there's some nerdy guys out there around here that like to talk, hey, let's hook up.
All right.
I would like to have someone that maybe we can come on the podcast and we can kind of, shoot it back and forth, because then I would like to learn too. I'm still all into learning,
Yeah,
Down for that.
I know it. So didn't you say there's a bunch of other races coming up, or no? Was that pretty much the ones you wanted to cover?
That was the races as far as for the live stream stuff. The other ones I wanted, we're gonna do shout outs, and then after you're done shouting out, then we can just talk about these upcoming races, and then we'll be good, man.
Oh, so you want me to do the shout outs
Yeah,
first?
sure, let's do the
cool.
shout-outs
So back to Snowdrop.
Back to Snowdrop.
Back to Snowdrop. So when they talked about the fundraising of over $110,000, so there's a gentleman that's actually, and I say it is what it is. Politics are politics. I really don't care. But Larry Despain, who's been around Snowdrop since I can remember the first year. So when we're talking about medals and stuff, I was kind of like you. I mean, heck, if I do a run, I want a medal. So when there's a photo, I need to find it, but I'm holding my arms up like this, and the ribbons, the medals run all the way through. And I donated every medal that I've ever been given. So Larry Despain, not only being, I believe he was the top fundraiser for Snowdrop this year.
Okay.
Him and Patrice and many others. I mean, there were just so many others that made that $110,000 happen. So thank y'all for that. But Larry also received a letter from former President Joe Biden.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of cool. I mean, regardless for, for kind of what you do. But
somebody to recognize you from that high up.
and so when we talk about, when I was talking about the medals and stuff, there's a organization thing called Bling for Bravery. And I might have mentioned this before.
I don't think so.
Where if
Well,
you want to
not on camera.
donate your medals, you can do that.
Nice.
And what they do is they actually take those medals, they clean them up, they put new the lanyards type, whatever, the ribbons, they'll put a different one on there, and they will actually donate them to the kids at Texas Children's. Because in some cases, I know some places,
Poor Mia.
yeah, she's Maya.
Sorry, guys, if y'all hear
Sorry.
Maya, we were trying to
She's-
keep her from. I didn't mean to cut you off, but we're trying
No.
to just feel. She's starting to get a little louder. So
Yeah.
I know it was really disturbing with all the tapping, and now so we haven't really figured out a way to.
We'll have to figure it out. Yeah, I can't leave her outside because she's a Belgian Malinois and she'll just jump it. But so the Bling for Bravery. So what they'll do is they'll take when a child receives a treatment, a lot of times, it's I couldn't imagine what they go through. But and of course, in most cases, kids like bling, right? So they'll go through and they'll give them a medal. Some will do a bracelet and they'll do beads. And then another thing, if you're not a big fan of the shirts, you can also get the smallest shirt that you can get and donate those too.
Oh wow!
So anyway, yeah, so my shout outs, of course, for everyone that did the fundraising for Snowdrop to make that $110,000 happen. And then of course, to the new Bling for Bravery. Well, Bling for Bravery has been a while. Larry Despain had it for several years. Now someone else has taken it over. But that's pretty cool because I think a lot of people they'll put them in a box.
That's mine. I don't even know where mine are. They're all scattered all over my room.
Yeah, or some people
They're not
take,
hanging up.
Yeah,
they're
they'll
not
have nice
displayed though. I used to display them.
yeah, so
Not anymore.
yeah, so for those, if you want to donate those, I mean, they would definitely go to a good cause. So,
Cool, man.
but congratulations and thank y'all for what you do.
Thank you. I haven't met you yet, but I'll probably be bringing you. I'll probably could do the same thing. Probably bring them a couple of arms.
Yeah,
of-
and they have like it's a barrel type thing, and they'll usually have them at these different packet pickups and different events. They'll have them there, and then at some of the races, they'll actually have them if they want to donate.
Nice, cool.
I mean, I ran the Houston half. I finished it, took it off, cut it off, and threw it. And I was like, don't even need to take it home.
Nice.
But anyway,
nice.
so yeah,
Cool, man.
good stuff.
That's your shout out?
That's my shout out, man. I'm
Shout
good.
out.
I'm shout
I
out.
might have a few more shout outs, and it's only because I have a lot more friends than Brian does. So.
He does. I mean, and he'll tell you why. I mean, he reminded me that before the podcast. But we won't go there. I'll go to therapy and talk to my therapist first, and then we'll go from there. I got to go. My dog has to go. I might have to take a few guitars while I'm at it.
Oh my God.
But anyway, we'll save that for a next episode.
No, we're not. We're not going to talk. I love Brian. I love him. But you know, we're men, and I think when you become a close relationship with someone, it's good to be transparent. And this is the one thing I will say about it, as you, sometimes I feel like we're a couple, because that's what I told him. I said, man, I never would have. Some things that people do, you will never see unless you're that close to them, right? We can all say with a spouse, partner, whatever, that once you spend enough time with them, like the sad part is you're going to see a side of them that nobody else is going to see, good and bad, right? So that was.
But you've seen more good than bad, though, right?
Yes, of course. Of course. Yes, of course. Yes, of course. I've seen way more good than bad. No, but that's the trick to it. It was different with Brian, because with Brian, give me the money. With Brian, when this particular, subject came up, it was basically like, I know where his heart is. I know he has a great heart. Everybody has flaws. So anyway.
Yeah, we'll go with that later.
We don't want to talk about that later. Let me know what your therapist says.
Well, yeah, I'll talk about my dog at the therapy.
What's wrong with your dog?
Chewing them socks,
oh,
man.
Yeah.
No.
So the shout out, since I got way more friends, way more people to shout out, I'm going to try to remember. I may not remember all. I already shouted out to Mr. Richard. So 200 miles, a great job, buddy. Hope you're recovering well. Also want to shout out, let me see, Jason again, 50 miles. That's no joke. That's his first 50 miler. So that is no joke. First are always a really good deal first, I want to shout out to my brother Chill. His name is William Trevino, but everybody calls him Chill. If you know him well, you call him Chill. And he just got the keys to his first house. He is an official home owner, and that, I'm so proud of him. He is 34 years old, I believe. Sorry, Chill, if I said it wrong, and I'm sorry if you didn't want people to know your age. But he's a single guy, and he bought his own house. That is an accomplishment that me personally in my life, I have never seen anyone else, and it makes me super proud. And I know our dad, if he was here today, he'd be so proud of you. So just remember that. I know you watch the podcast too, so. All right. My brother, he's gonna be a runner too. So
nice.
So congratulations to him for that. That is a super big deal. And congratulations to also Ryan. Ryan, he's the one I paced. That was his first 100 miler at Rocky Raccoon 100. Okay. I paced another one, so congratulations to him. I would also like to say congratulations to Alexis. She is a friend of the family, a best friend to one of my daughters, and she did her first 10K.
Nice.
Yeah, and I've seen her do quite a bit, because her and my daughter used to do a lot of things running, not really running stuff though. Like they did this I don't want to get off track too much, I will. They did CG together, and they did a lot of workouts, and they're really good, okay? Anyway, congratulations to her for that. Who else was there? Let me see. I know I'm gonna miss someone. Because I should have wrote this crap down. Anyway, that's my few shout outs that I have for now. I know I'm missing somebody. I'm sorry, because everybody's doing a lot of cool stuff. But next time I'll write it down and make sure. And I'll add you next week if I forgot about you.
Yeah.
But so we can lead into the upcoming events. And upcoming events are mostly going to be Texas. I'll be honest with you, mostly Texas stuff that we might go to or we know somebody going to. If you want us to talk about something else, then another event, just send us something, and we'll definitely don't have any problem promoting anybody's stuff. No. Coming up in March next weekend, we know Lisa's going to be at the Grasslands. There's probably a lot of people from Texas that are going to be at the Grasslands 100. It just became a 100 miler last year, I believe, and it was real muddy and crazy and light, and it was crazy. And so Lisa's going to tackle that 100 miler next weekend. I think a couple weeks after that is TIR, Texas Independence Relay. Is like a couple weeks after that, and that's a relay that's like, I don't know how far it is, 100 and I don't know the details. All these names, just remember the name, get on your Google like you do everything else and type them in, because I don't know about how to drop no link in the bottom of this thing or all that kind of, I ain't know that stuff yet. So, and I don't even know, I've never went to the bottom of anything and clicked on any link. I just Google it.
Right.
So I'm not probably ever going to add that stuff. They can just Google it.
Okay.
So then we got that, and we got, Goku Runner. Everybody that knows Goku Runner, he's in Beaumont area, but he does a lot of Houston stuff. He does a lot of good videos. Check out his YouTube channel. He also is part of the Three Brothers Running Company, which is having some races, March 14th and 15th, the Lucky Trail races out in Seabrook. So I know a few people that are probably going to be going out there or whatever. So I hope y'all enjoy it. I wish I could go, but my foot's hurt. So anyway, then in April, I plan on going to Brazos Bend 50 miler. At least I might volunteer or go out there and cheer people on or do something. But the Brazos Bend 50 miler, and when I say 50 miler, that's the main course. But then there's like a 50K. Then there's, I think, a half marathon. I think there's a 5K and a 10K. Because I did the 5K last year. And then I volunteered. So that's Brazos Bend on April the 5th. And then in May, I won't go too much past May. In May, I only know about 2 things that are kind of going on that I know of right away. Also, trail racing over Texas, the Wildflower. This year, they're doing 100K. So I have my buddy Mickey. He wants to do 100K. So I told him I'll go out there and support him. And hopefully I can pace him a little bit, help crew him or whatever. So we're going to probably go out there for the weekend and he's going to do the 100K because he wants a buckle. So hopefully I'll be on here saying that's his first 100K.
Sweet.
That'd be nice, man. So
cool.
Hopefully I'll be able to run something. I want to be able to pace, at least get some running. And then a couple weeks after that, I don't know, I don't have the date on here, but it's a thing called Achilles Hill. It's a Ben Bridgman, I believe. He does this event up near Dallas area, Fort Worth or something like that. I'll get more details as it gets for the next show. But it's a very low entry fee. But it also is, I think it's like a 4-mile loop or something on his personal ranch, and I heard it's really awesome. And it's like up to 48 hours. You can do different. It's an hour events, and I think there's a last man standing. But I'm pretty sure Lisa's going to that, and I'm hoping I'm going to go to that too. And I don't know what I'll do there.
Right.
I know I won't do 48 hours. So I just can't. I mean, if I sign up for 48 hours, I don't know where my fitness is going to be, so I just do whatever I can do. But
Yeah.
that's all I got for now, man.
Cool. It's good.
You got anything else you want to leave the fans with?
No, maybe when we talked about earlier, maybe leave him some, I don't know if you want to call it quotes or maybe a little words of wisdom.
How about a word of prayer?
We can do that too. Who's saying it? Me, you?
Oh, you remember my wife? I remember when I first met Brian. This is a funny story. You don't know what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, let me pull
You don't know. Hold on.
Pull up again.
You know what I'm gonna say? Look, I went on walks with him. We didn't really talk about our religious preferences or whatever. But one day he says, "Hey man, can I share? We're on a run. Hey, can I share? We were done, and usually when we're done running, we'll walk for a little bit because we always run the whole time. We never walk, right?"
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Anyway, so we like to make fun. But anyway, so we were walking, and he was like, "Hey man," he goes, "You mind if I read some scripture?" And I was like, "Oh man, no problem at all. 'Cause I'm always down to hear some scripture, to be honest with you." I was like, "Okay, cool." And then so I remember, and he read it to me, and it was really kind of cool. So he started doing that every time we would do training, and I was like, "Man, I really enjoy." I said, "Man, Brian, man, I was telling him, he really knows these quotes, and he tells me every time, blah blah." And then I don't know how long it was later, but I found out, hey. He's doing more than I'm doing at the time, right? Or even now. But he goes, I go, "Hey man, I really like the way you pulled the book." "Oh yeah, that's the reverse of the day." It automatically gets sent to his phone and he would just read it. I thought he was like fixing to be a preacher.
Well, what's funny was because it would come around 9 o'clock every day.
That's the time we were doing
And we'd
it.
be out there.
My God.
And it would go on my watch.
You weren't even remembering. You were just getting
No.
reminded by that. You're like, "Oh, let me say the."
Well, it'd pop up on my watch.
Because he would tell me like, "Hey man, it's time for the you want to hear the verse of the day?" He didn't say verse of the day. He says, "Hey, you want to hear something?" I said, "Yeah, sure, man." And he just started telling. I was like, "Oh man, so cool." Because sometimes when you're working or running or walking, I'm not looking what he's looking at or whatever. I'm not paying, or he's behind me or in front, whatever. I'm not paying attention. I'm just reading from a script.
Hey,
Hey,
I get
matter,
it.
bro. I got it. It's good stuff.
So,
And so-
mine, I still get every day at 9:09.
So maybe we can do today's.
Yeah, I get.
I'm okay with whatever you want to do.
Well, no. So yeah, let's share some. So let's see, because it comes through every morning at 9:09, and so actually, I'm on a 135-day streak.
That's awesome.
Well, no, I mean it is what it is. I mean,
I'm not
because-
good at that. I'm not.
No,
good at
I'm
that.
not either,
That's the
but-
Bible app, right?
Yeah, it's the Bible app.
And I've always tried to get a streak, and I never can get a streak longer than like
Yeah.
one time I had one for like 10 days.
All right.
But this means you have to open it up. And
Yeah,
look at it.
yeah.
That's
and-
all you got to do.
Well, and what's interesting is, like, some case you'll be in the middle of doing something, and you'll stop, and then you'll go set it off, but then you're like, oh man, I didn't go and I didn't read.
And
So
all
it
you
kinda
got to
makes
read is that one page if you want.
Yeah, well,
You don't
yeah,
have to go digging in.
Yeah,
It's not no requirement. It's just
Yeah.
open. Now you got the streak. Even if you didn't read that to me, your streak's good for today, right?
yeah. So, but anyway, so do we want to do this first, or we do want to do that first?
Sure, we'll do both.
Which one do you want to do first? Do you care? That. All right. So again, and really, when I talk about what I'm about to, this little quote here, a little bit of words of wisdom, the crawling part almost really comes
All right.
comes into play. So it says, run when you can, walk if you have to, crawl if you must, just never give up. I mean, and I think even when you did your first 5K, 10K, half marathons, full marathons, and I mean, a lot of that comes in, just don't give up.
I agree. I think the only thing I could add to that is training.
Yeah.
Training is the race or the event or whatever you're doing at the end of the training is just a cherry on top. The real work is in the training.
Yeah.
So don't give up during your training, because there's a lot of days you just don't want to step out the door.
And so one thing I was reading about this, one thing I think is interesting. So far, the likes from the quote from today, or the verse of the day, from Psalms 91, chapter 91, verse 1 and 2, has 989,000 likes.
Nice.
Almost 1 million. And there probably should be 1 million and 1 million more. So again, this is from the NIV. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Amen to that, brother.
Amen. Well, thank you.
Yeah, hey, I appreciate it. So we're good. I think this was good. So
We try to add a little more structure, and
Yeah.
we still got some kinks to work out. Hopefully I don't make any more big errors on uploading.
yeah, I don't need to see any more of that. Anyway,
But
so
hope not.
Yeah.
We'll go from there, man. No.
Come on.
No, I'm done. We're out.
next time, the runner.